Debbyites, Oscar nominations were announced today. We're very excited. I'm here with Tony Ruiz, Andrew Carden, and Amanda Spears. We've got lots to talk about, but I want to stay positive for a little while. I know it's not like me. I'm off my meds. That's my favorite thing from the nominations. There's plenty to get excited about. And I'm going to you, Amanda, first, because I know you just got a long list of things that you are thrilled about, right?
Best original screenplay. Most diverse category, I would assume, in Oscar history. Haven't done the research because I don't think I need to. Bravo. I don't know how you did it, but you did it. Greta Gerwig and Jordan Peele, first time in Oscar history, 2 actors, same year, nominated. Love it. Love, love, love. And then Rachel Morrison making Oscar history, first woman nominated for cinematography. She's got to be flying high. I know we're all supposed to be rooting for Roger Deakins, but if it's not him, I wouldn't mind if it was her.
I know, like, I jumped off the couch when I saw that.
And I loved that the fact that the press started cheering. Like, they didn't even announce her name. They just said mud, and you started hearing people start wooing. I'm like,
yeah, it's taken 90 years to get a woman in that category. How ridiculous. But this is wonderful. What a great moment for that history, and also especially at such a great time. It's very cool.
Yeah.
So, all right, well, they're very good choices. Andrew, what about you?
So I gotta say, on the technical side of things, as one of the few people who really enjoyed Victoria and Abdul, I was pretty happy to see it get a pair of nominations here. And early on in the announcement, when it started getting nominations, I was like, wait, is Judi Dench gonna get in? Could it even get into screenplay? But that didn't quite come to fruition. But I still think it's great that it got these nominations. I thought it was a really lush and well-designed film, almost like Merchant and Ivory level in its design. I know a lot of folks were kind of on it, but I thought it was terrific, and I'm glad it got a pair of noms, even if the Dame didn't manage to make the cut.
Had the same. Dench getting in. Yeah, right here now. Tony, I was really happy.
I'm gonna go pretty deep on this one. Yeah, I can hear you. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go for it.
So I'm gonna go pretty deep on this category on this. One of my absolute favorite nominations was Strong Island in the documentary feature category. I just saw that a few days ago. It's an absolutely just mesmerizing, heartbreaking, devastating film by a Black trans filmmaker, and it just hits you in the gut. And I went out on a limb predicting it. It wasn't. I don't even think it was in Gold Derby's top 5 for the Oscar nomination. So I was really happy with that one. And probably a little bit more predictable. I'm just so happy that James Ivory could very possibly get finally his Oscar. So those were the 2 that just made me the happiest.
Oh, I forgot one. How awesome is it that they nominated Logan for adapted screenplay? I know, but no. I know The Dark Knight's probably like, it didn't get a screenplay nod, so sorry. I'm in such a good mood today.
I don't know what's happening. Maybe you're off your meds, but
and I'm sober. Just want to throw that out there too.
That's helpful. It's very early in the morning here, so I have to be sober. It's really not socially acceptable for me to be drunk yet. And just basically, yes, I'm very happy about Logan. I didn't love that movie to tears, but I really liked it, and I'd love to see a superhero movie that actually has a heart and a brain in this category, and they actually nominate it. It's like a miracle. I look at it and I see Logan there, and is that actually real? I'm so excited about it. I'm very happy for Get Out getting the, you know, at least a screenplay nomination. To me, that was the greatest film of 2017 by a mile. So that's really cool. As you say, Amanda, Rachel Morrison, what a wonderful achievement for her. And, you know, I think I was really happy to see, you know, like Blade Runner wasn't skunked. It got a few reserved nominations, so that's really cool as well. But other than that, you know, there was nothing really hugely to complain about here. There was a lot of really good stuff to chew over.
Yeah, I mean, I would have liked to see Alan Menken get into song, but I kind of...
Well, let's do this. Let's talk about what we're disappointed about, because that's a good one. Go for it, Amanda.
You know, I love Beauty and the Beast, and I was happy to see it in the categories it did get into. But I just, you know, how do you... Maybe it's a been there, done that with him. But I thought like Evermore or How Does a Moment Last Forever, just in that nostalgia trip of seeing Celine Dion back up there again. But yeah. I really think that, you know what, if Mary J. Blige can't win a supporting actress, but if she does the rounds and her people could get her on the Grammys and she performs Mighty River, 3 out of the 5 people nominated, 3 out of the 5 songwriters have already won in like the past 5 years. She could take that if she really goes out there, does all the talk shows, performs the song. If her people could get her on the Grammys, who wouldn't want to see Mary J. Blige at the Grammys? Come on.
Yeah.
Perform this song and like drive home the fact that don't blow this opportunity. This might be Netflix's best category to win an award in.
Actually, just to interrupt the flow of our discussion, I think best original song is really open. I know Remember Me is most likely to, you know, the winner. It won the Golden Globe and stuff like that, but that doesn't really matter. I don't know if Coco is really that beloved and across the world. So I just think, I don't know, I'm thinking maybe the mystery, Sufjan Stevens, The Mystery of Love, or This Is Me. Sorry, This Is Me won the Golden Globe, not Remember Me. Sorry, that's a mistake. It's a strong category.
And Common so Song is not one to underestimate. That is a really great song from a movie that didn't get any attention.
Yeah. Over to you, Andrew. What were you disappointed about?
I was very sad to see Wonderstruck get nothing. It was one of my very favorite films this year, and certainly the most beautiful looking. Just the way it uniquely captured 1970s New York, and then decades prior, I thought was just marvelous. And it would have been a great Best Cinematography nominee. And in costumes too, you know, Sandy Powell did the costumes. She's an Oscar favorite. You would think on name recognition alone, she could get in. But that just wasn't the case. And it couldn't even get that adapted screenplay slot that was so open. So I was pretty sad to see that not resonate at all, especially when prior Todd Haynes films have done fairly well, at least in terms of nominations.
Okay. Tony?
I've got 2. The absence of the Lego Batman movie from animated feature, that was not just one of the best animated movies of the year, that was one of the best comedies of the year, and is one of the highest ranked films on Rotten Tomatoes in terms of DC, you know, movies adapted from the DC universe. That film had over a 90% and was a huge hit. And the fact that it's a double sting, the fact that it got replaced by The Boss Baby and Ferdinand. So yeah, there's that. But the other one that kind of bummed me out was more of a divisive possible nomination was Hung Chau. Downsiding is a film that has its problems. She is not one of them, and I just found her to be a complete revelation in that film, and it was a shame considering she had gotten in at so many other places and couldn't go all the way here. So those are my 2.
Yeah, with Hong Chau, it hit me about an hour after the nominations announcement because I was so caught up in everything else. And I noticed that she wasn't there, and I was really disappointed and upset for her because I'm sure she's devastated. She did so well throughout the precursors. It looked like a done deal for her, and it just annoys me that Asian actors just don't seem to get enough attention. And all this talk of diversity, as far as I'm concerned, is a little moot when it's diversity means diversity. It means everyone. And so not including her, not just because she's Asian.
I think it was the movie itself, not her. She's unknown. She's in a movie a lot of people don't like. It's not like Denzel Washington where maybe they don't like the movie, but they really love him. So they just, you know, like if you're not going to, and I don't blame them for not wanting to pick Franco.
Yeah.
But it just kind of.
Yeah, go for it. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say it was just kind of unfortunate, but she's at least on their radar now.
Yeah, so I hope she gets some good roles. And the same goes for Steve Carell. He did very well across the board for Battle of the Sexes, and he's not there either. So it's not just because she's Asian that I'm disappointed. I just found her performance to be heartbreakingly beautiful, and I think she deserved a nomination.
And what a good sport Tiffany Haddish was. I mean, she, you know, there were people who had their fingers crossed for her, and she got out there and was a good sport. I would have preferred her to wear the white dress that she keeps bringing up from SNL, but you know.
Yes.
Okay.
You know, it would
be
nice
so charming
if she could pronounce people's names properly, though. I just found that slightly disrespectful.
But she played it off in a way that was kind of cute. So I liked her when she was doing the technical category. She goes, I need to go see that Star Wars.
Yeah.
And that Dunkirk. Like, yeah, I'm sure a lot of people are thinking the same thing. So overall, good job. Sorry. I'm in a really good mood today.
I don't know what's happening. I'm scared. I'm worried. Okay. Look, the thing is, I don't have too much more to complain about. There's a few things here and there that missed out, you know, that we've already talked about, and that's annoying, but it's a pretty solid group of nominees. I think Get Out should have been in editing. I think editing category is actually really interesting because we have 3 Oscar Best Picture nominees, and then I, Tonya, which should have been would have been the 10th slot in Best Picture nominees. I'm just pulling that out of the air. Yeah, I don't know.
Which could possibly win.
I don't think so. I don't think they're going to give that award to a movie that's not in the top 9. I think it's probably The Shape of Water.
It's probably The Shape of Water, but it happens all the time, like with the Bourne film, and
I think they're kind of locking down.
Not been in Best Picture, so it's possible.
We've seen them kind of lock it down a little bit more. That's kind of one of the reasons why, even though I didn't predict it, I was still secretly hoping Blade Runner would sneak in, because Roger Deakins has a really nasty habit of losing to Best Picture nominees and winners when he's outside of the. I mean, it's just one of those things where it's just happened to him so many times. I
know. Like, you're right. You know what? Actually, just quickly tracking back to editing, I think Lee Smith from Dunkirk really should be winning that one. That is, if there's anything that's more edited or better edited than that, I'd like to see it. But Dunkirk, I don't know how it's going to do on Oscar night. I think it's going to probably come up short unless it can pull out an editing nomination win. And so with cinematography, Roger Deakins is the sentimental favorite there, but it would be lovely to see Rachel Morrison from Dunkirk has done some really great work in the last few years. And obviously Bruno Delbonnel and Dan Louston as well. So like that's a killer category. I think ACE will probably tell us at the end of the day who's out in front there, I think.
Oh, it's going to be fun. It's a really good group.
Yeah. So what about any other random things that you guys want to talk about? Just going over the categories, anything that sticks out for you that you want to discuss and bring up?
Well, I think how interesting that you know, one of the things we were all saying after the SAG Awards was how predictable things looked on the surface of things. But I think we're going into the Oscars with still some real head scratchers, and luckily, I think one of the big head scratchers is Best Picture. I think 4 films have a real strong case for them, and each of them has some sort of deficit. So I think, and original screenplay, you know, God help you who we end up.
I'm just going to draw a name from a hat. We can do it live on the air. I mean, I could literally argue why each one of those films deserves to win. And the only thing that makes me a little sad is that The Big Sick was not in Best Picture. But I could see how still, without a Best Picture nomination, that love story this is a true, based on true events that happen, could help it.
Really?
But if it's any of those other four,
it's a tough one.
I think that's your Best Picture winner. So goes original screenplay. So goes Best Picture.
Do you think? Well, and that could be interesting because, you know, many of us were thinking that Shape of Water might not even get into original screenplay.
Yeah.
So, you know, could that win, or, you know, who's going to take, or could, you know, Jordan Peele and Greta Gerwig cancel themselves out and leave room for Martin McDonagh, who wasn't nominated for director, and that's a place they could reward him.
I think if Gerwig and Peele are going to cancel each other out in any category, it'll be director. I don't think the screenplay category is necessarily where they would do it. But let me pose this question to you. The Shape of Water has 13 nominations. Dunkirk has 9. 2 years ago, we saw a similar situation where The Revenant had 12 and Mad Max had 10. I might have those flipped, but I think they stopped each other from winning Best Picture. Could Dunkirk and The Shape of Water split the tech support and leave this open for like Lady Bird or Get Out to do it?
Yes, I think so. Yes, I do. I think that's.
I don't think Dunkirk can win, but I think it could stop The Shape of Water from doing it.
Yes, I think that's a really good point. I don't know who it's going to be that takes the reins, because Martin McDonagh missing the director category, probably because of Paul Thomas Anderson and that surprise nod. And by the way, what the hell? But
I hate that movie. I've never hated a movie more than I.
Okay,
that is a misogynist piece of.
Oh, God.
The only thing it deserved was the costume nomination and the score nomination. I'd pray that's not Daniel Day-Lewis's last picture, because it was not the right way to go out.
I haven't seen it yet, so.
Yeah.
You can read my review on Facebook. It's 10 words or less.
That being said, what is the film that is it three? Okay. My question to you all is this, and I think I want to hear from Andrew first, just something different. Is Three Billboards Toast, when Martin McDonagh didn't make it? Did you say to yourself, Three Billboards is done?
I don't think Three Billboards is entirely done, in the same way that I don't think The Shape of Water is done because it
might be have connection. What about you, Tony?
Oh no, go ahead. Go, Andrew. Go ahead.
And what about you, Amanda?
There we go. Andrew, go ahead.
Go.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
so
as
I was saying, I don't think Three Billboards is dead because of director, in the same way that I don't think Shape of Water is dead because it missed at SAG Ensemble. I think all of the Best Picture, well, some of the Best Picture contenders, have a little thing against them. The question is, which can overcome the stat that it needs to kind of break. The last time, it's possible that we're going to see, Frances McDormand, Sam Rockwell, and maybe McDonagh in screenplay win. And if it doesn't take Best Picture, that'll be the first time that a film gets 2 acting prizes and screenplay without taking Best Picture since The Piano, I believe, in 1993. But, I think it's true. I think that, I actually do think that Dunkirk is capable of taking, film editing and sound editing maybe. So it could take a couple and, split the tech categories with Shape, which, sets up Best Picture to be all the more unpredictable. So I think it's going to be kind of, a jump ball at the end of the night. And, 3 or 4 of these films, have a totally legit chance to prevail.
So exciting. What about you, Tony?
I think the secret to Best Picture is going to come down to that preferential ballot. What film do people have highest on their lists? And I do think the one thing that hurts Three Billboards, which is why I've never predicted it for Best Picture, is that it is divisive. It is a film that that you're starting to see these think pieces come out about it, and we've got a long stretch between nominations and when voting starts. Voting doesn't even start until after BAFTA. So there's a whole lot of time for something else to raise up in popularity among the voters. And so it's going to be who's not just the number ones, but it's who's going to be those 2s and 3s, and which film is the least divisive or seems to have the loudest fan base, I think. Which I think opens a path for something like Get Out or Lady Bird.
There you go. I think that's pretty sound reasoning. What do you think there are any? I thought you had already weighed in, but go ahead.
No. Every film has a problem. I mean, Dunkirk has the most problems, so that's probably out. It's been 89 years since a film's won Best Picture without a writing or an acting nomination. So that's probably a stat that's going to hold. But Lady Bird and Get Out, no editing nominations. 3 Billboards, no directing nomination. The Shape of Water, no SAG nomination. So something's about to break. We've seen recently a film win without directing, a film win without editing, Argo and Birdman. So statistically, that only leaves The Shape of Water as like, okay, it's been 24 years since a film's won without SAG. So we're probably around the time where we're going to be due for that to happen. But I don't know if we can just put all of our weight behind that, knowing about the content. It's about a woman who falls in love with a fish, or like a fish-like creature.
Yeah.
Where I think even, a horror comedy sounds like a little bit easier of a sell than The Shape of Water, which leads me to think this might be between Lady Bird and Get Out, because I could still see some people putting The Shape of Water in 4th or 5th place because they're just like, this is weird.
Yeah.
But I don't think anyone's going to put Lady Bird or Get Out below like 3rd or 4th.
Okay. What about this conundrum? This is probably a moot point now, but is Darkest Hour stronger than we thought? I think it got 7 nominations, right? It's 7. It's going to win probably makeup, Gary Oldman. It could win score if the Slut doesn't win for The Shape of Water. It's got pretty X, and why not?
The Darkest Hour isn't nominated for score.
Sorry?
Darkest Hour isn't nominated for score. It's nominated for production design.
Sorry, my bad. Yes, that's right. That's what I meant. Sorry. Yes. So, but it could win that too.
Well, it's a World War II movie, so I think it's just going to check a lot of those kind of boxes. But I think that all the Best Picture nomination tells us is how much they really love Gary Oldman. And sans some new allegations coming out against him, he's got this locked up. As long as he doesn't do something at BAFTA to Russell Crowe his way into a loss, it looks pretty good for him.
I love that Russell Crowe is now a verb.
Yeah, I think the film maxes out at 2 awards. It's not going to win production design. So,
okay, I think it's got a better shot in production design than you do, but that's
technically usually you need a costume design nomination, so that leaves us with only 3 that it's really between. But we can get.
It's got a costume design. It's got a costume design nomination.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of the.
And it's the best picture nominee. So is Shape of Water. So is Dunkirk. But the costumes in The Shape of Water, I'm not sure.
It's not going to win costume design. It's probably going to be Phantom. Phantom Thread has problems. That might be where they give something to Beauty and the Beast. I could see them winning because it is the most lush, and it also is nominated in production design.
I would have thought Phantom Thread in costume design, and in production design, I'm probably going to go with Darkest Hour because they always disappoint me in that category. It should be Blade Runner, it should be Beauty and the Beast, or even Dunkirk. But Tony.
I would think if they liked Phantom Thread enough to give it a Best Picture nomination, it's probably going to win Best Costume Design too, but you never know.
It has the word thread in it. It's just like a no-brainer.
And it's about a guy. It's about a guy who makes clothing.
There's only been 18 occurrences since they started giving out costume design with production design that a film has won without a production design nomination, and we just saw that last year. So the chances are, the statistical chances that that's going to happen again are very low.
Yeah.
But if anyone's going to do it, it would be Phantom Thread. But I think they might go Beauty and the Beast. Come on, it's so pretty. Never mind, I'll stop.
It underperformed though, and that's disappointing. Yeah. I think it's really good. It was a really good revival of that classic Oscar movie. So final thought.
The first film that I ever saw like in the theaters that was nominated for Best Picture. Sorry, we stopped reliving my childhood. I am in a really good mood today. Sorry. Whew.
I don't know what's happening. I'm scared. I'm actually a little scared. I'm joking. So let's go through final thoughts. You first, Amanda, seeing as I'm already addressing you. What's your final thoughts so far on your reactions to the nominations today?
Yay to all the positive diversity, but don't pat yourselves on the back, because after you gave 12 Years a Slave Best Picture, you went 2 years without nominating a film starring a minority or a minority actor. So you've made some great strides today, but you have to follow through every year after this.
Okay. Andrew.
Well, I suspect the team behind Shape of Water is breathing a bit of a sigh of relief today, given all of the momentum that Three Billboards has picked up with the Golden Globe win and the SAG win. I think that Three Billboards missing in director is a great sign for Shape of Water, and I think we'll enter Oscar night as sort of a soft front runner.
And Tony.
Original screenplay. I'm going to be sitting on pins and needles, and I'm very excited that I hope that they don't keep original screenplay until the end, because otherwise everything's going to be pretty predictable until the last few categories, and then we're going to get to Best Picture, and who knows what happens.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, and I am pretty excited about a lot of these nominations, but thinking about Oscar night, I'm looking forward to seeing the 5 original songs performed. I hope they actually are a set of nominees and to enjoy. And that being said, it's going to be a great lot of nostalgia, and yeah, I just hope it's going to be a kick-ass Oscar. Long way to go now. We've got until the actual Oscars. So much is going to happen. There's and media outlets who write about the Oscars. They're going to be looking for things to write about. They're going to be looking for, and so God knows what we're going to have to tweaks and then arrange, and then we will finally be there to see what the hell is going to win Best Picture. Who the hell knows? Thank you very much, guys, for joining me, and everybody, make sure you stay tuned to Gold Derby. We have lots more coming your way about the Oscars this year.